Richard Randall, welcome back to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker, host of the program. And this is the weekly radio show that informs and it educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with Barb Schlinker, the owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Now, Barb, many home buyers want to buy their first home, but struggle to either know what they can afford or, more importantly, whether they can have enough money saved up to buy a home here in Colorado. How much money should a home buyer have in savings before thinking about buying a home?
Well, Richard, I've never covered this topic before, and I got this question from a buyer recently, and I thought it was a great question because if you compare buying a house to the car business, it's night and day. You could go into a car dealership and get a brand new car and probably not even write a check for a penny and walk out the door with the keys. It's a piece of cake, right? And it's kind of a lower bar to get our car loan versus it is a house loan. A house loan, they really scrutinize you for a house because they want to make sure that you can afford it. So the first step into buying homes, what buyers think the first step is let's go look at houses. That's what they do. And the truth is, the younger generation is probably better at searching online by far than I am. And so they do get a lot of education. They watch a lot of videos. They listen to podcasts. They're pretty savvy on researching, which I think that's a good thing. But they really don't know how the home buying process works. So the first step really is not to go shop for the house because you could set yourself up for disappointment. So I had that happen one time. I met this buyer, and that weekend, this was before the prices got too high, there was this really cute house out east on acreage for sale. I encouraged him to come to the open house. And before I said, look, make sure you get pre-qualified because this home is priced right. There's probably going to be multiple offers, right? And so he did come to the open house. He loved it, said, oh, I want to make an offer. I said, great. Did you get pre-qualified? No. And of course, that's on the weekend. He couldn't get a hold of the lender till Monday. And by then it's gone, right? We had 10 offers, it's gone. So it's really important to get that step done because the best deals go fast no matter what the market is doing. All right, so what exactly do you have to do? Really, all you have to do is pick up the phone and call a reputable lender. I would not necessarily go straight to your bank, although there are some local banks that are pretty good at mortgage loans. I would ask whatever broker you're working with, who do you recommend for getting a mortgage? Because there's so many different loan programs out there. There's many different amounts that you need to prepare for in down payment. And it takes a little bit of education to walk into buying a house. And it starts with how much house can you afford? So I know rents are going up. In general, a good rule of thumb is a lender will qualify you based on anywhere from 25 to 40% of your, it could go as high as 50% of your gross monthly income can be in the form of debt payments, which includes house payment, credit cards, car payment, student loan, all that stuff. Okay. So you want to talk to a reputable mortgage broker? It only takes 1 month to be a real estate broker, and it takes 2 weeks to be a mortgage broker. Okay. So make sure you're talking to somebody with some experience. And there are some programs where you can actually get down payment assistance as long as you can afford the payment. Those require that you have a pretty good credit score, not stellar, but pretty good. And they have income limits, but in general, you should be fine on that. Make sure that when you save money in preparing for buying a house, if you are making big deposits, like if your parents gave you some money, or I noticed Bitcoin went up into the 80s today. I was like, wow, I should have kept mine. You have to have a paper trail to prove where the money came from because they are going to look at your bank statements. They go that far. They don't just say, how much do you make? They actually verify it. They check your bank statements. If they see any big deposits, they're going to be asking questions. Where did that money come from? They might even ask whoever gave you that money to prove it as well. Different down payments you can see. 20% usually is good for conventional, but you can also get 10%, 5%, 3.5%, 3%, even zero down on certain loans. Okay. It's all about the payment and whether or not you can afford the payment. So I do recommend going to this one website. It's called bankrate.com, and then look for mortgage calculator. And in there you can put in, based on what the current rates are, your down payment, and it'll walk you through how much the payment is going to be. And you'll be able to tell real fast if that's in your budget. My name is Barb Schlinker. I'm the broker owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty and the host of this show, Your Real Estate Voice. And we're talking about how much money do home buyers really need to set aside to prepare to buy a home? How much do they really need to save to get ready for it? And next up, we're going to talk about some surprising cost in home buying, because it's not just the down payment, it's the closing cost. It is some of the credit costs that you need to do up front, like credit report, appraisal. They need cash reserves. You need to prove that you have cash reserves to make 3 to 6 months payments. There's all these factors. And then there could be some unexpected things like inspection items, and we're going to talk about those in the next segment. So if you are thinking of making a move, one of the things that we do for our buyers is we actually give them insider access to homes that they cannot find anywhere online. In our platform, right now we're up to almost 170 properties of motivated home sellers that want to sell their home. So our buyers get access to those. And then if you're thinking of selling, of course, what we do is give you tips on what to do, what not to do to get your house ready for sale, give you a good idea what your home will sell for. And we'll be able to present to all the buyers in the community, not just our buyers, but our buyers in waiting, Zillow buyers, our citywide buyer agent network, and all the programs that we have to make the process smooth and worry-free. Just call us at 719-301-3900 or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
Barb, we're talking about how much home buyers should have in savings before buying a house here in Colorado. What are some expenses that home buyers should be prepared for when they're buying a house?
Well, Richard, in addition to your down payment, now you'll hear, if you listen to some of the other radio gurus like Dave Ramsey, he says you should save to have 20% down, but it's not just the down payment. You can get into a home with as little as $1,000 out of pocket, even if you're not one of our beloved veterans. You can do that. However, you still have to be able to afford the payment. But there's some other costs that happen in the home buying process that you should know about. You got to pay for a home inspection. That could cost from $300 to $500. You got to pay for an appraisal for your loan. That could be $750. If you're buying a manufactured home, you might end up paying for a foundation inspection. That could cost another $750. And credit reports have gotten expensive too, almost $100. So those are the kind of along the way before you actually close. You also want to make sure, in addition to your down payment and your inspection cost and your loan closing costs. So in general, loan closing costs are going to be about 2% of the purchase price. And that would include the underwriting, the loan origination. There's lots of fees within that. Prepaid set aside for property taxes and insurance, one whole year of insurance. You might end up paying some or all of the buyer agency fee now. And more recently, what we're seeing, because a lot of people, a lot of home sellers are having to replace their roofs because of legacy hail damage. As a home buyer, you have the option to upgrade the shingle on that roof and make it last longer. And that actually is a very good investment. I had one of my buyers do it recently, and he was happy I suggested it to him because it cost about $2,000 to upgrade the roof, but they give you a break on your homeowner's insurance. So that upgrade paid for itself in just 3 years. And going forward, he had a discount on the roof for as long as he had that roof. So those are some unexpected things. And that's why when you buy a house, you don't just want your down payment plus your closing cost. You want some fluffy money. I say $2,000 to $4,000. And then you also need to have somewhere, either in a retirement account or in savings, what they call a rainy day or cash reserve funds, sitting in a savings account somewhere. And what the lenders like to see is anywhere from 3 to 6 payments. Now, that seems like a lot of money. Average payment, like I noticed a payment for a 410 house, no money down at current rates, is probably about $2,800. However, um, that was with zero down, right? So you could have that set aside somewhere, just sitting within a retirement account, and that might be sufficient for underwriters. You have to ask these questions. And one more thing that you're going to have to pay for are moving costs. Now, we let our clients use our moving vans for free. You just have to supply the labor, but we're happy to do that. And because it's got a big wrap on it, it's got my name on it. So for me, it's a giant billboard driving around. But the clients just love it. So that's an option for you too. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice. That's Barb Schlinker, host of the program. And with your home sold, guaranteed realty. And if you're thinking of making a move, call Barb 719-301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. Barb, your favorite time of the program, what are your hot new listings?
Absolutely. Well, the first one, 3465 Mosswood Drive, beautiful starter home, priced in the mid twos, will be open this weekend. We've got a couple of properties on the market open. They're owned by the Secretary of Veterans Affairs. One of them needs some work, but it's a good starter home at 338.5. We have another one that really doesn't need any work, priced at 385. Really good buy. Those are on the market right now. I have a spectacular custom home with amazing views on Sunbird Cliffs, priced at 1.599 million. This home has a 2-car garage on the main level. You drive around the side, there's another 4-car garage. You could actually enter from that level and have multi-generational families living in that home. It's absolutely beautiful. A fixer-upper on Pine View, priced at $399. We also have a great home in Rock Rimmon on Delmonico at $715, and a 5-plex down by Fountain, priced at $499, and a beautiful home on Crandall Drive in the low fours, plus some gorgeous lots. So if you are thinking of making a move, we love to help people buy or sell. Give us a call at 719-301-3900 or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You've been listening to Your Real Estate Voice. It airs every Saturday. And if you're thinking of making a move, call Barb at 719-301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. And remember, you can see replays of the show on Barb's YouTube channel, Barb Has the Buyers, or listen to the podcast on all of the popular podcast platforms like Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, many, many others. Thanks for listening this weekend. And to give Barb a call, 719-301-3900. Barb, have a great week. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you. Wonderful week to you.